What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol AAL for American Airlines. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this is a stock that I was watching for a breakout up and over potentially this area right here at the 2214. Obviously never happened, but we do have upside levels mapped out. We have 2375 and then 26, just about the nice round number. Those are upside levels. Those are not going to change, but quite clearly, right, on Friday's session, big move to the downside, okay? So the gap up, the gap hold here is no longer really in play. The gap did fill and then some, right? So all things considered, this level is no longer really in play. There's the remove, there we go. And instead, what I would point out is that we are sort of rejecting the top end of the range here. The bottom end of the range is quite simply down below at, let's call it 19 for round number's sake. Now, we're smack in the middle of the range, right? If we do something like this, cut it in half, give or take, we're right at the midpoint. And generally speaking, this is not where your edge exists. Your edge literally exists at the edge. You're either looking for a breakout or mean reversion at the top, or the same but opposite at the bottom. So mean reversion or a breakdown, right? And as of right now, at the midpoint, it's sort of a 50-50 shot whether or not we bounce higher or continue on lower. So I would be patient here inside of American Airlines. The candle structure and the volume would certainly suggest that there could be some more downside, but just be careful. We're in the midpoint of the range. Also note, here is a prior shelf of resistance, then offered some support right here, then resistance right here. So that's another level to be paying attention to. If there is continuation to the downside, we know that the floor is at 19. That will be our target. And when and if we get there, we'll start to be on the lookout for hammer candles that print, indecision doji candles that print, things that make you question, right? Are we going to bounce essentially at the bottom end of the range like we've done a couple of times in the past now? So 19 is the must-watch area to the downside. If we turn around here at the 50 SMA, if we sort of resolve this 2050 to the upside, hold it as support, quite simply put, the breakdown point at 2126 is the target overhead. So on a return, that's your first target, then the top of the range. But again, as of right now, if we take a look at the 30-minute, you can clearly see Friday was basically straight down, no reprieve from the sellers whatsoever. So the buyers really, they're not showing their face essentially during this entire move to the downside. If we do something like this, what you'll notice is that there was no attempt whatsoever to get back up to the 38.2, never mind close a candle above it. So, very, very bearish day. Certainly not bullish there inside of AAL, which again is why we would believe, we should see some downward continuation, but just being at the midpoint of the range doesn't really make sense to chase it short here. And it also doesn't make sense to try to stab long in the face of a very aggressive down move. So please be patient. That would be the one thing I would advise here inside of American Airlines. Either wait for a pattern to develop. It could be an early morning pattern. So it could be some bearish consolidation here. Breakdown of the low of day from Friday takes us lower, right? That's one thing. It could be some sort of double bottom. We could bounce, we could come back in, bounce, form a neckline, and boom, there's your long to get back into some of these upside targets. But please don't just blindly jump in, I would say at least in the first, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, hour of Monday's session, expecting that we're just going to clearly see downward continuation. Or if you're bullish, right, expecting that this is quote unquote on sale, that we're going to see some sort of rebound. Please be patient. That's the one thing I hope you take away from this video here on American Airlines. That's going to wrap it up. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new here, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.